Hey y'all, it's Alex and welcome back to my channel. Over here is day 13 Ash. You can check that out in the top right corner. And today's prompt word is overgrown. We have an interesting color for today's prompt. It's Ecoline 337 Magenta. I know I've done a lot of perspectively circular objects. I don't know. So my idea is of a wizard's tower that is being overtaken by growth, and this witch is coming to investigate it. The struggle with this piece is going to be figuring out where exactly do we start. I think the best place to start would be kind of ironing out where exactly the tower is gonna go. And we'll see whether or not we can get this perspective to work. And then she's gonna be... I'm definitely using the witch's hat to hide some of her features that I don't really want to worry about perspective on. I think I placed her too high up. We're just gonna start all over. I feel like this piece is gonna be a lot of hemming and hawing. I'm gonna draw out her torso first. Just kind of going in and doing a more loose sketch based off of my thumbnail. And then we'll kind of go back in with details later. Or right now, because I can't help myself. So her head would be about there. It's too big. Which is a phrase I very rarely say to witches' hats, but I want to give her a nice, cute backpack. Just because. Make it a little puppy dog backpack. I'm gonna kind of give this skirt some box pleats, and we can refine these. So the point of perspective is going to be kind of like fisheye lensing down this way. Maybe we'll just do straight lines. God, I'm doing everything to avoid working on this perspective. Let's just do it. That one doesn't feel right. Well, perspective is not usually my forte. So I think that just about works for the perspective here. We'll iron this out a little bit more in a minute. Let's figure out how we're gonna do the overgrown part. So my plan was to have like this massive vines and foliage tracing its way up the sides here. Up here it's gonna be like more of a mass than true defined shapes, because they're pretty far away. This window that I'm putting in right now, which is one of those archery windows that you see so commonly in medieval architecture, this is the same scale as those, which makes it a lot easier for me brick-wise, because I planned on having each of these be 3 bricks tall. Well, no, 2 bricks tall with 1 brick in between, I think. Maybe instead of it being ivy, maybe it'll be... I'm trying to think of the best way to do this without overcomplicating. Since we're looking more up at the sky, I'm gonna do some different shaped clouds than I usually do, which is gonna feel really weird. Oh, that's where her map is, which we also have to figure out what's going to be on the map. I think I'm too stuck on the ivy idea. We're gonna also put some shelf fungus. I know that these more commonly grow in wood, but I think we'll also hint at the stairs that are inside this tower. Because I'm imagining it's one big stairway to a sort of orb dorm space up above. What I'm thinking this is, so it looks almost like a mushroom, and this, in my mind, might give off like some sort of glow. Who knows? I'm doing just about everything slightly off camera today. That sucks. I think I'm going to add in some grass texture like I have been just about every other day, it seems. Gonna kind of rough her up a little bit, because we don't know how long she's been out here searching for this tower. Just to make her seem a little bit better prepared for being out here in the elements, I'm gonna give her an axe. Just kind of tucked into the arm of this backpack. You know, I don't like that. It kind of disturbs the cuteness. Just go ahead and put back everything that I just did. We'll have the hatchet kind of like hiding over here. Just kind of doing a basic map for this piece. I have bigger plans for maps in future pieces. I have avoided whatever I'm going to do with this long enough. It might be lazy of me, but I might just make it quote unquote moss. Nah, I still really like this vine texture, or this leafy texture that I did up here. Alright. So let's bring y'all in close and get started on the line art. Because I can't help myself, I'm gonna start right off on the backpack. You know, this backpack almost makes me sad that we didn't get some sort of brown tone for today's piece. I have to be very careful about where I place my hand as well, because otherwise you guys can't see anything. It makes smooth line art very difficult. Whoops. That line didn't go how I wanted, but it's cool. I'm gonna put some little mint leaves inside of her water. This skirt, I feel like, is going to be kind of a pain in the ass, but we'll do our best. I'm gonna move you guys kind of like to the side here so that way I can kind of normally place my hand, because otherwise this skirt will be next to impossible for me to do. For the skirt to actually be this full, there would probably be some sort of crinoline or petticoat underneath, but we're just going to chalk it up to magic fiction. I'm playing part of this map just by ear, which whenever I'm drawing maps, that's kind of what I do. I try to make the most logical decisions as far as where things might be placed. I'm gonna start off in one pen and then kind of work my way consistently to smaller pens for up here, just to kind of try to give more credibility to the perspective of the tower. And I think I'm also going to do the clouds in a pretty small nib. All right, I think it's time to finally start doing the ivy. I'm already not sure whether or not I like that, but it's kind of too late to go back now. So I'm gonna try to make it less and less detailed as we go further up. I think I'm actually going to snap past that so I don't have to worry about filming, because I've noticed that when I'm doing these lines, I'm more worried about where the camera is than where I'm actually drawing, so we're just gonna... It got a little rough in here, but better than some. So we're gonna go through and put in all of the brick definitions. I'm not gonna worry too much about how neat these are. It is supposed to be a decrepit looking place. I should have narrowed the bricks going up, shouldn't I have? I've really screwed myself. Whoops. We'll just say that the base is made out of a separate size of brick than these up here if this perspective doesn't quite make sense. And we're going to take out the inks and start working on the grass texture down here. I'm having trouble getting these fine enough. I think part of the problem is the brush. So let's change brushes real quick. That's much better. I also need to make sure my brush is particularly wet. So my plan is for this little window, I'm going to paint the stairs with a really dark ink wash. So they're just kind of like a hint in the darkness. All right, relabeling number 2 as number 3 and number 3 as number 2 because they're driving me absolutely batty. So now our inks are the correct numbers once more. I think we're gonna start on the backpack first, like we kind of have been this whole start of the piece. I'm gonna go in with the number 2 for the most of it. I think I'm gonna do the pockets a different color, and the bottom of the ears will also be a different color. That's why I put the seam in there. Kind of regret giving them that much blush, but we can dab some off. I have a pretty nasty scratch from playing with Rosebud the other day, and it's like right in the crease of my thumb, so that's super fun. I think I'm gonna do pink for the majority of the rest of these pieces. I'm just gonna kind of work my way further out from this spot. Didn't like the color that I put down for the hatchet originally, so just sop it up and go back. I'm gonna go in with a pretty dark color for the bedroll, I think. I touched the place where I just colored the handle of the hatchet. I will have to go back and fix that later. I might actually just leave that white. So we'll let it run. We'll use the darker ink to kind of smooth over the line I didn't like down on the bottom of the bedroll. Depending on how much that lightens up over time, we might have to redo the liner in white ink for that, but we'll see. I'm definitely hopping around more today than I have in previous pieces. And this one I'm actually filming the day that this piece is supposed to go out. Usually, I think I said this yesterday, but I do usually film the night before, but last night 13s gave me so many editing problems, I didn't have time to really get to work on anything else. Not to mention, Jess and I are almost at the end of Borderlands, so we spent a little bit of time. I was editing, she was trying to beat the last vault monster. Of course, all the shading I did on the legs was off camera. I'm gonna give him some dirty spots. They've both been on this long adventure. Oh, I forgot to put back in the little dark. I want the tower to be pretty light, so I might go in with the number 2. I should probably grab a larger brush. However, we're just gonna go quickly. I should have wet down the area with water first. I've been meaning to try that. Oh. I didn't realize how far I got outside of the lines there. But someone suggested that to me a few days ago. I can't remember exactly which day now, but I've been meaning to try it. It's just that, God, it slips my brain every single time I start going into a piece. Probably isn't very good for the health of this brush, but I very much enjoy the texture it gives when the brush is dry. And I want the skirt to be pretty dark as well. I'm going with this as a base color. A weird blotch of color here. Most likely something I did, but nonetheless, it's kind of weird. So I want this up here to be pretty dark. I thought number 3 would be dark enough, but I don't think it is. So let me dab that up before we add too much ink to the area. So let's go in with number 4. Yeah, it's better. And we'll have to shade some of this to some of the tower to be, so that way it looks like there's an actual shadow casting down from this spire. I don't know what it is about me and getting out of the lines today, but It's just not my day. It may look a little weird keeping the inside of her skirt wet like this, but I want the inside of her skirt to be pink. Maybe she's got a cool reversible skirt of some kind. I honestly think that's all we're gonna do with the inks. The rest is gonna be done with the watercolor. So we'll wait for all of this to dry and then we will move to the watercolor. Seemingly, as always, for pieces with witch hats in them, we're going to use the most concentrated version of the color on the hat. You know, when I was pulling the colors for today, or for all of the Inktober prompts, I was a little disappointed that Overgrown didn't get a green. However, I really like this color. I think this was my favorite color in my all pink color challenge, which I can link in the top right corner. While that dries, I'm going to go in and do all of the accenting on the puppy dog backpack. Trying to make sure my hand stays out of shot as much as I can manage, which is very difficult. I think I'm gonna go in with the same color to do the pockets. Here's hoping this layers up okay. Because I want to do a little bit of shading on the hat. I think for all of the leaves, I'm going to put a little bit of black inside of the pink, just so that way this and this aren't the exact same color. I finished this entire side with one mixing of ink, and now to do this side I need to actually mix more ink, so here's hoping I can replicate the colors well enough. That's probably about as good as we're gonna get. And I'm already gonna need to mix up more ink. Woohoo, I mean watercolor. I keep saying ink. I think it's because deep down I'd rather be using ink. Well, actually, it's not very deep down. It's pretty close to the surface. I much prefer ink to watercolor. Alright, gotta mix up more ink. Of course, when I still have a sizable chunk left there. Just to get rid of this awkward line, I am gonna go back over all of this stuff. I need to invest in some smaller brushes, because these are still a little big. I want to be able to do more delicate textures. So my thought is that these here are forests, so I want to denote them as being darker than a lot of the surrounding area. They kind of look a little bit more like weird clouds, but we'll work with that. And to kind of denote a regional change, it's just gonna fade off into a darker color up here. I don't know what kind of water this girl grabbed, but unless it's lemonade, I don't think I'd drink it. Lemonade with mint leaves in it. Would that be good? I don't even know, honestly. Now that all of this around here is dry enough, we're gonna do the inside lining color of her skirt. Let's try using this color. This is the same color as the pockets over here. Let's do this area. There's still some pencil lines. I'm gonna take care of those real quick. Funny enough, this color seems to be very close to day 3's color for the sky. Maybe they're both happening like in the same area on the same day. Oh, I wish I kind of had like the foresight to have this tower kind of like hinted at in the background. That would have been really cool. But of course, what's gonna go down 11 days down the road. I'm trying to be very careful around the tip of this hat here. I don't want to drag the color outside the lines. I think I'm gonna try to continue the subtle gradation of colors that I have here onto the other side. I kind of like that. So I'm gonna put a second coat down here. I think I'm gonna further lighten up the color that I used for the sky to put some texture inside the clouds because they look just odd being stark white. We'll see what we can do about the white there. We'll actually test out my idea on that cloud. And that doesn't look too great, does it? I'm gonna try to actually wipe away. I think I can work with that. And this way I can kind of get rid of some of the areas where I messed up inside of the clouds. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more of this mixture and kind of give some definition. I think I'm actually gonna go in with white ink and redefine that. Before we do that, X marks the spot. I hope you guys enjoyed watching today's piece, and tomorrow's prompt, I believe, is Legend. If you feel so inclined, hit that subscribe button and check me out on my other social media handles. Thanks, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.